It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yeah, you should know about it. Well, not sure whether you must submit an income tax return? Take out a car or home insurance policy from First for Women and make use of their tax assist benefit. Qualified and experienced experts will help you make informed decisions about your financial status and be in the know on matters like how to complete your income tax return or how to calculate taxes payable, what are your allowable deductions, and how best to plan your retirement. Well, this morning we have Catherine in our studio. She's a senior tax manager. She's in our studio to give us guidance on information on how to work with tax and what taxation is all about. Catherine, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Alana.
Let's get into it. I mean, it is the time for tax returns. My first question is, when do we know when a financial year starts and ends? And also, what is the deadline for filing that income tax return?
The tax year ends every year on the 28th of February. And tax season opened on the 1st of July, which means you can now start filing your returns. Non-provisional taxpayers have until the end of November to file, and provisional taxpayers, those are people who conduct businesses in their own name or have more than one income source, have until the end of January.
Okay, so there's different submission dates for depending on whether you are a provisional taxpayer, etc. During the month, you accumulate slips and you keep everything because everyone or a friend told you to keep some of this stuff because you don't know what you submit. What documentation or receipts should we keep for our income tax return for that end of the financial year?
Documentation is very important because SARS may ask you for proof of anything that you've claimed as a deduction. And you want to have that on hand if needs be. During the year, you get various documents. You'd get an ILP5 from your employer. You get an IT3 certificate from the likes of the banks or other investment institutions in regard to investment income. And then also very important is the certificate you get from your medical aid, which states what contributions you've made and how many dependents you have. But really, anything that you're going to claim a deduction for, you need to be able to prove.
Can you keep expenses for medical reasons outside of that medical aid as well? So let's say you had to pay cash at a doctor or...
Yes.
Okay.
In certain circumstances, you might be able to claim a deduction for that.
Okay.
Not always. So best just to keep all your medical expense slips just in case.
Okay. Well, can you explain the process to us? Because most of us now want to go online. We want to do our thing in terms of e-filing. Is it safe to use e-filing? When should we consider a professional to just help us get through this process?
E-filing is very safe and easy to use. Anybody who has a tax number can register online on the SARS website. The e-filing is really just a long series of questions that prompts you to enter the correct information. And if your tax affairs are relatively simple, I'd advise that you could do it yourself. But if you don't feel confident about it, or if you feel like there's some complexity, then get help.
Yeah, just don't leave it till next year, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges self-employed individuals face when it comes to their tax return? And how can we avoid obstacles?
Well, the Income Tax Act is very complex, and people who run their own businesses have more deductions to claim than, say, somebody who's just employed by one employer. So there's a lot of complexity there. Also, record keeping, as we mentioned before. If you're running your own business, you're going to have lots of expenses and different incomes, and you need to keep track of that. So I'd say if your business warrants it, probably an accounting system is a good option.
I can't help but point out, when you hear the word tax return, you almost want to think, I'm going to leave it till later. Are there any benefits in handing in your tax return on time?
Saving yourself lots of stress.
Yes.
Also, if you do submit your tax return late, you will be liable for penalties and interest. So it's definitely worth doing it well in advance.
Sure. Okay. Well, Catherine giving us help here. Whether you need completing a tax return or planning your retirement with First for Women's tax assist benefits, tax and finance related matters will be taken care of. So for more, you can quote First for Women. You can call them 086 1111844, or you can SMS the keyword FIRST to 49267. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Catherine, thanks so much for joining us on our Feel Good Breakfast Show. Katlego, what you got?